Chapter 5. To find out, he was just dehydrated. Nothing really serious, but he did have to stay in the hospital for 3 days. He was so mad he had to miss school. Ma told me what he said when he woke up. Gotta do miss work. She laughed and knew Josh was back to normal. After that, he had to keep Powerade and a pack of crackers in his bag for any sport he did. Track practice was almost over, and Josh and Derek were going to the finals. They had so many, I couldn't really keep up. He had, I know for sure, one out of state. One of the track team members' mother volunteered to take a truckload of members to Dallas, Texas to have state competition. He told me in detail about that trip. That one, he was really happy a few times in life on that trip. The trip was 4 days long, not counting getting there and back, but the competition was 2 days, so the team had 2 days to themselves. There was one boy, he just turned 18 a couple months ago, before the trip. His name was Stanley Newman. For those 2 days, the coaches let the team do pretty much whatever they wanted. That was only if their parents signed a permission slip, and of course, Ma signed something she didn't really read, just took Josh's word for it. Stanley rented a car. He took Josh, Derek, and 2 other females and drove to Mexico. Josh said Stanley was going 95 miles an hour the whole time, so it didn't take very long to get there. The whole trip going there, Josh said he sat in the back with the 2 girls and they kept messing with his fucking dick. I think he did something to lead them to that point, but as I said, Josh was just that fine. And he wasn't screwed up in the head like normal boys. They rented a small hotel with 2 beds and one cot. He said he didn't go back to the hotel till early the next morning. They left early in the morning, so I think they reached Mexico around 4 or 5 or 6, something. We're around there. They had brought a lot of money, so they did a lot of shopping. I heard everything is cheap in Mexico. Josh brought back a couple shirts for me and jewelry for my mom. He probably had the girls pay for it though. He was always saying what people could do. They went sightseeing all day. They went to different museums and historical places, but they were mostly inspired by the people that made things from hand, had their heart and mind and their business. Plus, most of their businesses had whole families behind it working for it. But it was at nightfall when real fun started. He talked about how they had to go back to the hotel twice just to drop off all the things the girls bought. He said he wasn't sure, but he thinks they bought lingerie and whipped cream. They decided that the boys wanted to go one place and the girls another. They left the car at the hotel so no one had advantage, and everyone got to walk. Josh, Derek, and Stanley, they all had the same thing in mind: getting drunk and getting girls. First, they went to a local bar. All of them had 4 shots of hard liquor. After the 4th shot, Derek was getting dizzy and he decided to go back to the hotel. So it was down to Josh and Stanley. Now, as far as I know, Josh never drank before, but he sure could handle it that night. They needed something to eat, so they One, of course, and got Mexican. They both ate the norm, fajitas with a lot of hot sauce, and they had beers to cool them down from the heat. After they left, they walked down the street where some girls threw themselves at them, of course for a cost. He said they were cheap, $10 an hour. Some of those girls were beautiful, but he didn't want them because everyone else had them. They went to the club, and then to another club, and then to another club, and got drunk and more drunk, and they threw up a couple times, but then drank some more. I think the only thing that saved them was the food. They went into a piercing parlor. Stanley got a tattoo of his name on his arm, while Josh got both his ears pierced. Since he was sort of drunk and he moved one of the earrings sort of higher than the other, but it's not a real big deal. Ma freaked out when she saw it, but realized it was done and over. Around 2 a.m, they were walking, or you could say slightly wobbling down the street. Josh said the next thing he knew, he and Stanley were in some room having sex with these random women. They got some girls, and the girls led them to this house. One prostitute offered. Then the other one said, "There's a party downstairs." Josh and Stanley swear they don't remember anything but what the girls told them. The next thing Josh and Stanley knew, they woke up in the hotel room on the floor in vomit. The girls were sleeping together, and Derek was in the bathroom taking a shower. By the time he got out, everyone was awake. Stanley went to go get extra towels. One of the girls had got her learners, so Stanley let her drive. By the time the 5 of them reached Texas, it was, I think, 4 or 5. Stanley and Josh were still hung with school and the alcohol really started to kick in. And for some strange reason, both their penises were burning. The only thing they could think of was that girl from the previous night. When the coaches saw Josh and Stanley, they were mad as hell, and all they could do was put them on leave with the finals. They were so messed up, they could barely walk. Coaches knew good and well they couldn't run track, but they did. God watched over them. For Josh, like God has always watched over Josh. I don't know how he gets into stuff and gets out of stuff so easily, but they did it. Josh just said they drank a lot of water and ran a lot before the finals. Thursday morning, Josh and a couple other people had to do hurdles, and Derek and Stanley on the others had to do sprints. They had to do 25 races that day, and so far all of our track teams made it to the top 25 on Friday. Since it was their last night there, the coaches took the team to dinner in a real nice restaurant. Josh and Derek were sharing rooms, and there were 2 other girls, Shakira and Tivia, cousins. They were sharing another room. They sat at the same table for dinner, and before it was over, they decided for Tivia and Josh switch rooms. So Josh was with Shakira, They vowed not to tell anyone, but of course, Josh told me. Come to find out, Shakira was a virgin and begged Eric to hook up with her with Josh. So the ride in the van, it was officially that they went quote unquote together. They just didn't ride home together. Oh, and I forgot, Josh claimed 6th, Eric 5th. Josh girl, Shakira 4th. For the big thing, Stanley, he was number 1. How Stanley got number 1, no one knows. But everyone was proud and excited.